Okay, we're live with another Cartridge Club Hangout. I'm here with Musty.
Hello.
Sorry for it being a little bit late. Time got away from me, and then it took a while for things to actually get going. Anyway, how's it going?
Good. Had a nice long weekend. Very much needed.
It's good.
So, yeah. Playing some Final Fantasy VI.
Nice.
I'm getting prepared for the end. And by prepared, I mean grinding, but
Yeah.
nevertheless. So I found a forest that has a bunch of T-Rexes that give lots of experience.
Yeah,
and also cast Meteor. So there's that.
That threw me for a second because I don't usually think of dinosaurs in Final Fantasy, but then I'm like, you know what? It's Final Fantasy. Screw it. Anything works.
Ooh, Brachiosaur. Let's destroy him as quick as I can. Yeah. Think of what's been going on aside from I saw that Polymega announcement today. That was exciting.
What's the word? The console with the different things you can put on.
Yeah, that they're like finally like in the home stretch for. I mean, they have pre-orders now, but still, that's
What's the word I'm looking for? Where you can swap out the parts on
modules.
Sure, a modular console. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. It's been a while since I thought of that, so that word just completely went out of my mind. But yeah, how's that looking?
It's intriguing. The fact that I could focus on, say, getting the one that I like. I'm always skeptical with the clone consoles because of quality differences and things like that. So I'm not ready to like throw my $250 at it to right out the gate. But I think it's kind of cool that it's expandable to what you care for. Like, if you don't care for the turbo, then you don't have to commit resources to the turbo unless you want to. Because if you look at your Retron 5, you've got like 10 different slots, and each of them is not necessarily built the greatest. We've yet to know if this is going to be of better quality. But the fact that it's, you can buy the thing that has the NES port, or you can buy the thing that has the Super Nintendo port, I feel like means that they need to craft those things individually better, hopefully.
Yeah.
The fact that it's able to run 5 different CD systems is bizarre to me. Like really baffles me how that's possible.
Multiple lasers, probably.
Yeah, I mean they're all CD based.
Yeah.
So
they're all CD based, no like DVD.
And not yet, because it's PlayStation, it's Neo Geo CD, it's Turbo CD, Saturn, which is what they announced today, and Sega CD.
Okay, so no Dreamcast, which is... I was wondering about Dreamcast because they used a unique disc format, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so it probably wouldn't work with a standard CD laser. So that works, just having them all be CD based then. But that's pretty cool. I can't really see it being all that practical if you have a lot of original hardware, just in terms of the popular consoles. But what that intrigues me for is the CD based stuff and stuff like Turbo and Neo Geo, the stuff that's a little bit harder to come by.
Yeah, so, and all of the CD based stuff is built into the core of the system. Like those modules that fit on are exclusively the cartridge slots for those systems. And then I need to read a little more into it because it seemed like you could rip your ROMs off the cart, and whether you needed the ROMs beyond that, or if you were basically accumulating a digital, like a ROM library of your own in the system. I couldn't tell whether that was the case or not. So I don't know. It's an impressive concept. I'm intrigued for sure. But you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's all up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really will be until it's like in people's hands, I think.
Yeah, which they were saying it's early next year. So, you know, fairly soon. But
probably a little earlier for like some YouTube people and stuff.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I bet your influencers will get their hands on it, and you know, I think we'll get a lot of good news out of it right away.
Yeah, and then a little bit more critique and speculation later.
Yeah, or like somebody's like, oh well, actually this, like, yeah. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think it looks cool. It's a nice little clean looking system. From what I was thinking.
The only thing with me for that is, yeah, I definitely see it from all of the obscure consoles, or if you don't have any retro consoles at all, or like one or two, but not the rest of them. Because like just coming from having most of the popular consoles of the time, but not like any of the Sega CD or anything like that, but just Genesis, NES, Super Nintendo, that kind of thing. It doesn't seem all that practical as a space-saving thing, or in terms of not having to switch a bunch of cables, because of the modular aspect. You have to keep switching out the things every time you want to play a new system. So it doesn't really work there, but it does work if you are just kind of getting into it from that, or like as an alternative to emulation now. And just getting the more obscure stuff is where that's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I remain optimistic, but again,
cautiously so.
Yes, very much so. I mean, we've seen at least this thing is tangible, right? And like it seems like they've got. I mean, they're in, like I said, the home stretch, so they at this point should have it. If they're asking for money now, like, I'm not too worried. I just remember like when the Retron 5 came out, the initial release. The initial release was like supposed to be early that year, and then it got pushed back 3 months, and you know, but it looks like, yeah, like they said, that all 5 of those CD formats will be available on day 1, and then you can buy the modules separately. Now I should just look this up, because
because the CD module is just the base unit, right?
That's the base unit, and I holy mega.
So I imagine the hookups just go into the back of the base unit, and the modules are just separate, like a cartridge slot, essentially. Like swapping a cartridge. I mean, you don't have to unplug everything and then put a new thing in. Don't know if we know that one way or another or not.
Yeah, so I mean, each of those, the nice thing is each of the modules has official controller ports. And then it also comes with a controller that's sort of molded for that as well. Like, so there's the Genesis style one is a 6-button Genesis shaped, and I think that let me see, element modules. So I'm using Nintendo Life as my source here.
So the controllers come with the modules, or
yeah. So the module comes
Okay.
with the part that you add on and a controller that is themed for that module. So the Turbo one has it's still a 6-button controller, but it is sort of in the shape of a TurboGrafx controller. The Super Nintendo one, again, same concept, and then the Genesis one is a 6-button. I wish it said pricing.
Now, I wonder if you can opt out of the controllers depending on system, like if you have the controllers for it already and wouldn't be using the generic alternative. Because that would add up cost-wise. Like if you're buying a bunch of modules and you don't need the controllers for most of them.
It could be. I mean, it looks like there's exclusive buttons for what I assume is the UI on that system. Like there looks to be a home button, even on the NES one. So this starts. Here, I can share it just so.
So there's a visual aspect to this conversation.
Yeah. There you go. So that's this is the NES controller for it, and so you can see there's kind of the Polymega logo in the middle. And then there's the Super Nintendo one.
They look good, at least.
I like the design. Yeah, it looks pretty sharp. I like the colors.
Yeah, that could be a 3D mock-up, but
there's the Genesis.
Either that or it's a really high-quality picture.
Yeah, and then here's the Turbo. But again, a Turbo only had 2 buttons, but it looks like they're saying, hey, if you want to play it with a 6, like if you like this format of the controller enough and just want to use this maybe on your other games or your disc-based games, you want to use this one for it, it looks like you'd be able to configure a 2-button or a 6-button option on
That's
there.
a cool option.
Looks like a toggle. But yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, just in terms of the UI functionality. Because
it looks
that'll be kind of like a less egregious Wii U situation, where regardless of the controller you're using, you have to have the gamepad next to you.
Yeah.
But I imagine the base unit comes with a generic controller that's kind of more modern style that works with everything, right?
Yes. Hold on.
Because that's really all you would need at that point if you have a lot of the original controllers and would be using those anyway.
Yeah, there's I'm going to say PS4 styled one here.
I mean, that's what a lot of retro audience people gravitate to more so than Xbox style anyway.
Yeah. This is what that one looks like.
Yeah, okay.
So 2 thumbsticks. But yeah, there's a turbo option on there, and so yeah, I have to wonder if that's yeah, this can be used across every available module. I have to wonder if I have a feeling it's wireless.
Yeah. It would have been interesting had they done a partnership with 8BitDo, because that would have given them a good kind of push, quality-wise. Like, in terms of, at least for the controllers, that would have given people more confidence in that, because usually the generic controllers that come with these things is kind of terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Retron one is garbage.
Yeah. Most of them are, is my point. They could have partnered with them if they could afford it. But that would have been a good get for them.
Yeah, but I mean, and again, we'll see in due time what it ends up looking like. But so far, so good, and it seems like they're saying the right things right now, and I think that's what's important.
Yeah. And I probably won't keep much of an eye on it myself, but I'm looking forward to seeing what other people think of it. If it's a good solution, I might get it for the more obscure platforms.
Yeah, the turbo CD. It sounds like we got a couple of people in the chat already who are way on board.
Yeah, turbo is one of those consoles that I really kind of want to get into it, but it's the price. It's really the price and the uncommon nature of all the hardware and the back part that you have to do and all the add-ons and crap. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I would like that, but it's a little impractical. So if you could get that base unit and a module, that would pretty much tackle that. And
yeah, I would think they'd have to include a module out of the gate. Like you pick one and it comes with the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still in
unit and your choice of module.
Yeah, so it's like I would probably do the NES one just because although the turbo one is potentially appealing because it's a system I don't have a capability of playing right now aside from just straight emulation. So I don't know. I'm not sure which one I would end up leaning toward in that case.
Yeah, and Chris mentions that the PC Engine is expensive. I'm assuming he means like for games more so than actually the hardware. Just after that point, like just in terms of this conversation, because it's like the hardware is one thing, but then you have to get the games, so it's just kind of one of those.
Yeah, and what you're going to end up doing with this coming onto the market is suddenly flooding even more people who want those systems.
Yeah, I got confirmation that I guessed correctly on the point of that. But yeah, that's gonna probably, if it takes off enough, that's probably gonna spike some of the more obscure consoles libraries.
Yeah, for sure.
God, that's annoying. Just like it's fun to collect all the retro stuff, but it's also really irritating in a lot of ways. Like just the financial and just the financial side of it and the legwork involved with a lot of this. And especially with like the ROM sites being scared off now, that just makes it worse. We really do need a better like preservation platform in terms of that.
Yeah.
It would be cool if some kind of ROM site took the Crunchyroll route where they go from being like an illegal, like Crunchyroll used to be like that's the anime streaming service, but they used to be an illegal streaming service, and then they took all that down and went legitimate, and now they're like the top streaming platform, paid for anime, and like to the point where like companies in Japan are talking about like how they're seeing profits from that. Not like wild, like this is going to revive the franchise kind of profits, but they're seeing gains from it. So that would be kind of a cool thing if that happened for games, in a way. Where it was kind of just, kind of what GOG is doing, but for console stuff.
It'll happen. Everything works itself out like that eventually.
Yeah.
The other thing that those modules said was that they had 5 games included, and they didn't say what though. So I don't know what that means.
Probably ROMs, so that might be sketchy. Just in terms of the current environment on that. Like companies probably wouldn't, or Nintendo specifically in this instance, probably wouldn't care too much about the replica hardware, but the replicating games on the hardware. That's where they could start to probably see legal action on that.
Yeah.
Just because they're doing that anyway with the websites. Why wouldn't they go after them for that? Just to add people to the list, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Hudson Soft is the other question at the moment.
What's the question with that?
Well, a lot of the IP for Turbo belongs to them.
Okay.
Like, isn't Bonk and others. I can't even think of them off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know about a lot of the more obscure license holders for that kind of thing. Yeah, there's a huge risk of just a lot of these being lost, unfortunately. Without the ROMs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them probably already are, in terms of the source code. I watched a video from Stop Skeletons from Fighting. I think that used to be not Happy Console Gamer, but Happy Video Game Nerd or whatever it was. But they did a video on like preservation of that, and like all the footage they showed, they said at the end was like from games that the source code is already missing. Like, like the Crash games and stuff like that. So like even a lot of popular games, all the source code is still missing. Like even like relatively recently, the thing with StarCraft where they couldn't really re-release it, I guess, until the source code disc just randomly popped up in an eBay auction.
Oh jeez. They're like, please give this to us now.
Yeah. But I can't remember the details on that specific thing, so I could be remembering wrong. But I know there was something with the source disk on that. And then they were able to remake it, I guess, after that happened.
Well, that's good.
Because they probably had like the game itself for the base release where you could download it off the website for free, based on just one of the discs they had laying around. Like having the client available for those. But in terms of doing an actual remake, they would probably need the source code. Yeah, that's really concerning, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I was getting all my consoles set up today, and I made sure that my 360 that has Scott Pilgrim still running just fine. I should just play through it just so I can at least officially say that I played through it.
Yeah, I have that on my PS3 still, and I played through that at the time. It's really good.
I remember I've watched a few. Like I think I tried it briefly. It just wasn't. That'd be great if I had like a few people who would come over and play.
Yeah. It is less appealing single player, but it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to blow your mind, but it's a fun game.
Yeah.
But just the uniqueness of that one specifically, it really sucks that it's not available. Outside of like download codes at EB Games or Best Buy or wherever the hell that was.
I mean, even if it's like take the engine and throw something else in it. Like I get that a lot of that game is just how good the source material is, but the mechanics is really what made that game.
Yeah, the mechanics, the art design, the level design, just the music, which is the only thing you can access legally. Funny enough, because it's Anamanaguchi, you can just get the soundtrack for it because it's just their stuff. So the soundtrack for the game is legally available. You can literally go on iTunes and get it, but you can't get the game.
See, that's so weird.
Yeah. And even like arcade stuff like the X-Men and Simpsons arcades. I mean, we could go through the list of all the games that come up every time, like the stuff removed from digital thing comes up. Turtles in Time Reshelled. Don't think many people actually missed that one.
Doom.
What about Doom?
The Doom on Xbox Live Arcade pickup.
Listed. Yeah, you can still
you can play it elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you can still play it elsewhere, but you can still get that version and you can even play it on Xbox One if you get the Doom 3 BFG disc. It'll just download them to your console.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it's where is it?
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, but just for reference for people, I don't think I probably paid that. It took me forever to actually track a copy of this down. But yeah, basically all of them other than the N64 game and the new one are on this disc, which is pretty cool. I mean, mods and other kinds of things aren't, but you know what I mean. I want to get that N64 Doom at some point. Apparently the one that's currently the game of the month is kind of a semi-sequel to that one.
Yeah, so it's funny, and I don't want to get into lore too much because it will steal some of what I wanted to talk about during the podcast. But yeah, I mean, oh my goodness. That Brachiosaur just wiped my party with one move.
This is talking about the Mario World podcast. Yeah, I always have to fit in a couple puns.
I haven't actually listened to I listened to the front and the back just to make sure that like the recording was there the whole way, but I haven't actually listened to the show itself. That being on the road kind of ate into that, and then today I had the day off, so I was working on the room and
the video's not up for that yet, right?
It's not, but we're going to drop that as a patron exclusive. I'm just trying to figure out how to get in there to actually do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm having trouble with.
Now we're starting to you take over, and now we're starting to get into the Patreon stuff.
Well, the video. I mean, so the podcast itself is going to be tightly edited and with all the additional stuff that Ryan's been doing with the music and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I want to reward the people who. I think we all want to reward the people who are funding the club, and so that's the way that we can kind of give them something a little bit special.
Yeah, or at least early access to it.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet if that's a timed exclusivity or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried about the video because people are going to see me fight to be able to actually speak because I finished all the water I had before we started, and I got the dry mouth from just like being on video and nervous. So I was just like going like this, fighting for moisture every time I went to talk. So it's like probably on the video I'm looking down like this all the time, just going.
Yeah, well, it was a good recording. But like I said, it was July. I haven't even thought about.
Yeah, I'm not all that worried. I just feel like that could be a meme or something. Not a meme, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. What else has happened?
I mean, I can talk about what I've been playing recently because I actually have been playing something.
Yeah.
And it's one of two pickups, but it's not like I haven't mentioned them elsewhere anyway. But Dragon Quest XI, I've been playing a ton of this because I know it came out today, but I was lucky and Amazon accidentally shipped it early, and I got it on Friday.
Wow.
So I'm about 14 hours into this. It's real good.
That's good.
And in case anyone's curious, as far as the cover art goes, the Japanese cover art is on a reversible cover there, which is, I have mixed feelings on that art, but it's still pretty cool that it's on there. Yeah. I've been sharing thoughts on that in the Discord.
On the artwork itself?
No, on the game.
Ah, okay.
But, another thing I noticed with Dragon Quest titles is the spines are always just completely bland.
Yeah, it reminds me of when Jared showed off New Zealand games for the
Kind of
first
like
time.
that. Yeah, except for what ones are they? Even the Dragon Quest Heroes game on PS3 is the white, except for Builders. Builders is the only one that actually has dynamic art. Ish. It's only more than just a white background on it. Is that not much of anything, but it's something.
Yeah.
But like all the 3DS and DS titles are that way. Odd choice. Then again, those aren't really all that popular here, so you gotta save money somewhere. Do you have much Dragon Quest experience other than 8, maybe?
No, I have 8. I just haven't played 8. It was one of those I'm gonna have all the club games pickups. So
yeah, that's why I was bringing that one up, and then I remembered. Oh yeah, you joined substantially later than that happened.
Yeah, I joined after it, but I also just like of the big RPGs I've played, it's been FF4 last year, and then now FF6 this year. And then I have yet to decide what it's going to be. Like I really decided to throw time at this because the clock on this one is far longer than I thought that I would be. But
like you're further in the game, or it's longer than you thought it was going to be?
I thought I was going to be able to kind of wrap things up at like maybe 25 hours, and I was sorely mistaken because I tried to like go into the next place, and it was not. One of the things that they require you to do is to take your party, and normally you just have your party of 4, and so I've been working with this one group exclusively, and then in this last area you have 3 parties of 4.
Oof.
So
you have to manage each one of them, or?
So I mean, it's basically you switch between them. So like this one can advance, and maybe they step on a switch that allows a door to open for another group. So you kind of play as one at a time. But I had people in my party who I've never even had as part of my party, and so that's kind of where I was at. Is now I'm dealing with people who are 10 levels behind everybody else, which is fine.
Just kind of a pain in the ass to level them up.
I mean, it's all right. If anything, I'll luck out and I can steal some elixirs or some important items.
Yeah. The multiple parties thing made me think of Infinite Undiscovery. I think that this was an anniversary of it recently, but I can't remember how many people. I think it's like 18 party members eventually you get in this game. Nice. And you don't switch between them and use them all, but you can have like each individual party managed out like who you want in each party, and then they fight in other parts of the map while you're going through the levels. And that's one of the interesting aspects of this game is you can see like you're running around with your party that you've picked, and then you'll like look somewhere on the map, and one of the other parties that you set up is running around. I think it's more like story sensitive. Like you walk past a certain checkpoint and you see them go by, like for where you're progressing in the story, rather than like seeing them independently fight other people that are on the map that you would have otherwise fought. But still, it's been a while since I played that one. It's a little divisive on if it's good or not. People either really like it or really hate it. I thought it was pretty
Do
fun.
I have it? I have it. I haven't played.
Yeah.
Another one of those.
Yeah, like most of the 360 exclusive RPGs. It's like, I have it, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Should say hi to Vigigamer in the chat.
Yeah, hey. I was looking in the chat. But,
yeah. We, what do you think about Puddlegate?
I liked Caleb's video on that.
That is so good.
Yeah. Go watch, is his channel just Caleb J. Ross?
Yes.
Okay, so go to Caleb.
I think he may have posted it to the club site too.
Yeah, like either go to the Cartridge Club site or go to his YouTube and watch that. Trust me, you have time. It's short. That's all I'll say.
7 seconds or something.
No, it's like it's 47 seconds. I was gonna leave that for someone else to see, but
nah,
that was funny.
There's a small time commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, I also saw the Digital Foundry video on that today, where they went substantially more in depth. But then again, they had the game to look at. So it's not only is it not downgraded, it's improved. The game is better than it was in the E3 thing. But like all the changes in that puddle room are all just artistic changes because they've changed like textures and lighting maps and stuff like that.
The water evaporates, like
that too. But it was like there was supposed to be some kind of weather system, but I think it's story sensitive now. Like as you progress through the story, the weather changes or the day-night cycle changes rather than being dynamic.
Gotcha.
Which, that's fine because it really doesn't matter otherwise. It's just kind of this fancy function. Some games it works in like really open world stuff like Grand Theft Auto, but like if you have a relatively linear story with side quests, it's just like just do it every time the context changes for the story. But like it's a different time of day in that scene now, like it's more overcast. They removed some puddles. There's different light maps on the puddles. They've changed SpiderMan's suit texture so that it's less plasticky and more like cloth, so it's not as reflective. So it's not that it's worse.
It doesn't have that shiny appearance.
Yeah. Like people seeing it not be shiny, it's like, oh, it's worse. And it's like, no, the sun was going off his plasticky suit in the other scene, but they changed the time of day lighting and they changed the suit texture to be more cloth-like, which looks way better, honestly. So it's just kind of a non-controversy, really.
No, we got to complain about something.
Yep.
Do you think it's people like posturing themselves in case they don't like the game?
I have no idea. People just want to feel like they're slighted on something.
That makes sense.
Like they're like I don't want to put my money down if it's been changed. This is what I've been promised.
This game that I saw a year and a half ago.
That doesn't look the same. They're trying to pull one over on us.
Well, everyone is.
Pictures of
I Who tweeted that out? Like, if you're,
they said a menace.
No, they said if you are like the head editor of a video game outlet and you haven't used this opportunity to run into your newsroom and ask for pictures of Spider-Man, you're failing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still. It'll be interesting to see when Friday rolls around if I'm like how badly I'm like missing out.
The game looks good from the reviews I've seen today.
Mm-hmm. I've actually avoided the reviews, not because because I know they're going to be good with keeping the story elements, there. But like a game like that, especially being as like open world as it is. Hi, Eric.
Hello.
And hey, Self-Destructo in the chat.
Hello. there are moments that you build into an open world game like that where it shows you how expansive it is. And if you've seen pictures of the world beyond the
opening
presentations then that they've done, right? Then suddenly those moments are wasted on you.
A little bit, yeah.
That's not saying that people are wrong to want to watch it or wrong to want to hear a review. I'm just leery of like
you know, I just listen and not watch the footage, but
could do that too. It's like if you took who was it? Somebody said that they wouldn't watch Fallout reviews because it shows like most Fallout reviews show the moment where they come out of the vault, and that's a huge moment for big Fallout fans.
I can see that, yeah. Like the world reveal.
Mm-hmm. Like the whole like eyes changing from like being indoors and like the thing where it's like super bright and then the eyes adjust. You get those moments in like Oblivion and Skyrim as well, where you just all of a sudden are just like, whoa.
Scale of world.
Like, I want to go to that mountain.
Yep. Just don't try to walk to Morrowind in Oblivion. It doesn't work. That map lied to me. That was a long time ago. But just context on that. When I rented my 360 back in the day, when Oblivion was out, kind of relatively new, I played Oblivion, and it was the first Elder Scrolls game I played, so I had no idea like what scale, like where something stopped. But I had heard about Morrowind, so I saw Morrowind on the map, and I hadn't discovered the fast travel system yet. So I walked across the entire world to get to Morrowind and hit an invisible wall. And it was from like the beginning of the game. It took probably multiple hours. And then I discovered fast travel. I think right when I wanted to go back, I just looked at the map and like, and then I'm like, wait, what's that button? Oh, damn it. Anyway, that's a side thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I watched mainly 2 reviews and the Digital Foundry video on SpiderMan. And the only thing I had revealed for me was one of the villains, and it's just like, yeah, I kind of assumed it was going to be them. But
is it the identity of the 6th? We knew who 5 of them were, right?
Yeah, it may be the identity of the 6th, but it probably is. But it's just like it didn't state one way or the other. It's just an image of them. They could just be one of the other villains roaming around and not be the main 6th villain, but they probably are. But it like wasn't gameplay of them. It just showed like a quick cinematic shot and then it cut away. But it's like, yeah, that maybe shouldn't have made it in there. But because none of the game's media has ever talked about this character.
Interesting.
Being in it, but it wasn't anything for me. It was like, oh yeah, I assumed they were going to be in it, and that was it. That was the closest thing to a spoiler I got. Was someone I already assumed would be there is there.
Yeah, it's just confirmation of what we're suspecting.
But if anyone wants to avoid that, it's in the Easy Allies review.
So Eric, those are some nice looking IKEA shelves you got there.
Thanks. They're like the cheapest shelves IKEA has, I think.
The lac or whatever it is.
No, those aren't the lac. The ones that you added have like that bracket piece.
Yeah, the reason I got those was because the brackets are called Ekby Bjarnum. I think that's what I think the shelves are called Ekbys. I bought them because they can be cut to length, and then the metal caps cover up the ends. So you can cut them at any side and not worry about because it's just particle board, and then the caps cover it up so you can't tell that they were cut. So that's why I picked them.
That's convenient.
But I used almost all of them at the length they were, except for I cut one in half to make the longer section. They're 2.5 long, and it fit nicely in the space I had. But
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting some more. Actually, there was a section of wall I was going to put the Millennium Falcon on, but I think I'm going to actually put that somewhere else and then add 2 more shelves on the wall. Super exciting, I know.
It is exciting.
It's exciting for me because it means I can start arranging this room a little bit more the way I want.
That's good. I ended up finding a suggestion on how to add feet to Kallax shelves, because there is no, like, you can wall mount like the 2x2s, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted something that was gonna, because where we were gonna put one of the ones upstairs, there's a register there, and for the vent, and so I need it up. Shouldn't have said that. But they have in the kitchen section, there's these feet that are adjustable. They screw on, and so they fit. Yeah. They fit perfectly. And yeah, I just had to drill some pilot holes, and it'll actually. I'll make sure to show it when I officially do a room tour, which I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks that's going to happen. We're almost there.
You're going to do a room tour?
Yep. I'm almost there. Yeah. I got to get the closet done. But yeah, I have a couple other things to do over the next couple days. Ouch.
I always get motivated to rearrange the game room and do the shelving around the time PRGE starts approaching. I think I've got an association now with the September-October timeframe with going to IKEA and buying shelves and putting stuff together. I've done that several years in a row, several years now.
Well, it's like just as the weather starts, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if you associated like apple cider and like nutmeg and cinnamon to shelving.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet, but there are definitely some. We went to PRGE for the first time in this house. We had moved the same year that we moved into this house as the first year we went to PRGE, and we moved in about August. So there's a lot of associations with getting the house in order and going to PRGE and the cooler weather. So yeah, not so much nutmeg yet, but yeah, it's crazy.
So we went to I went to the Brewers Cubs game yesterday.
Yeah.
And
the moment I'll be back.
No, it's actually going to talk about how the moment that we got there in the parking lot, the heavens opened up and poured on us as we walked into the park.
Uh-oh.
Well, they have a roof, so that was fine, but it was just like we got in there, and then so my car was me and my wife, my son, and then our his cousin.
Yeah.
And so we had to we had the kids. The other car was my parents, and then my sister and her husband. But they have a handicap placard, and so they got to skip not only the line to get into the parking lot, but they also got Rockstar parking, and missed the entire rain that we had to walk in through. Like,
oh,
they left after us, but got to the seats like long before we did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but it was a good time. It was my son's first professional baseball game.
When was that?
Yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He had a good time. He was wiped by the 8th inning. He was just done. And then we had to drive 4.5 hours home.
Wow. Yeah.
Good timing on the sports ball talk too. I was just looking at my water I needed to refill. That worked out.
That's good. So Eric, you've been playing Doom, huh?
I have. I've finished the the third. We were trying to figure out if Ryan was. I was going to watch Ryan's stream, but I think he's ahead of me. I finished the first 3 levels, so the last one I did was the Foundry. It's the one where there's all the lava. There's like the room where it's just full of like molten lava or whatever on the floor. Yeah. I think it's the first level where the Hell Knights show up. Sorry,
yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's been a while since I played it, but yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying. I haven't played it in the last couple of days. We had people over, and yesterday was busy. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get through it. I don't think I'll have any problems getting through it this month.
No, you started early enough, so that's good.
Yeah, I need to go back and finish the games from earlier this year that I've never finished, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to be perpetually behind with more and more games, so I thought I would just get Doom wrapped up and then play it in time with the club, and then go back and wrap up the other ones since no one's playing them anyway. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm already like partway through Doom from over a year ago, but I haven't gone back for this month yet. I stopped, I think, on the level where you get the BFG, so like, I don't think that's much of a reveal at this point.
No, we know it's there.
Yeah, but like just as a progress note, that's as far as I am.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got to the antenna today.
Anyone
but
know
this is a
level the BFG is on, by the way? Like what number?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, you can look at the soundtrack. There's one specifically for the BFG, but that doesn't exactly help you either because that soundtrack is 2.5 hours long, and
yeah, doesn't matter. It just was like that's a progress note to keep in mind for discussion. It's probably a little ways after.
But yeah, Melissa's actually she might be listening in, but she expressed an interest, so she might try it out tonight. She's going to play it on. She was asking me if there was an easier level than the one I'm playing on. I'm playing on default, which I think is
Hurt Me Plenty.
Yeah. So she'll play. There's only one easier level. I forget what it's called. Don't Hurt Me, Daddy. They used to call it Don't Hurt Me, Daddy, or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think people may take issue with that title now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Wolfenstein kind of took that a little because BJ has like a bonnet and a pacifier in his mouth.
Yeah. I think they did that in the original Wolfenstein. Does anybody know? Does anybody want to? I think that was a throwback. I'm not sure. Right. I'm not sure. I thought he had a pacifier or something, but maybe I'm mistaken.
That sounds like something they would do.
Yeah.
Certainly back in the 90s, that would have been more more likely. But
I mean, Doom has like it looks like a kind of child demon with like a little hat on instead of like the harder difficulties, like there's more horns and on the image. But
yeah, Melissa says she's in the thing here.
Got a couple of comments about Gargoyles Quest in the chat. Anyone playing that?
I'd like to.
No, I don't own it.
Oh. Neither do I. I'm wondering what the ROM situation is on that now. It might be available legally on something like the 3DS, but unless it's like new 3DS only. But no, that's a Game Boy game, so probably not.
You could check the Wii U VC.
Yeah. Buying something on that is a little not appealing, though, just in terms of carryover. So we don't know if... I feel like we can probably guess, but we don't know for sure whether any game purchases will carry over to Switch yet. Probably not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a pretty safe bet that it's a no.
Yeah, but we don't know 100% yet, is why I'm kind of like, plus it's the previous gen thing. Especially with that, it's kind of harder to justify that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, it's a $3 or less PS1 Classic on PS3. That I can swing. But I have horrible control with that. Didn't buy anything on the Labor Day sale, though. That's something. Do you guys see the latest comment from Sony on the crossplay?
Oh, we don't because we're the best place to play.
Yep. Oh god, that's such a stupid reason. Like, that is not what you want to say. Especially, it's like, if you can't play with your friends on other platforms, but people playing on other platforms can play with their friends, doesn't that by default make you worse?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, yes, they can speak from a position of power, but I don't know.
More like a position of arrogance, honestly.
Well, I mean, just their numericals.
Yeah, their sales numbers
puts them in that spot. But
yeah, but the arrogance of it, that whole thing. That's kind of where a lot of my animosity towards Sony in the recent months has come from. Not for Fortnite specifically, just kind of that mindset, you know, about backwards compatibility and crossplay and all those other things.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly inspiring customer confidence.
Yeah.
But man, they just keep digging.
Well, I mean, when's TGS? That'll be their next chance to, either shoot themselves in the foot or show off something to distract everyone from the poor business decisions that they're making.
I mean, they've already showed off SpiderMan, God of War, Dragon Quest XI, and people are still talking about Fortnite.
Yeah.
And various other games.
Well, Fortnite's a big deal.
Yeah, but it's just kind of one of those things, like, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do to get people to stop talking about that other than introduce crossplay. If they keep talking about crossplay, that is.
Yeah.
If they stop talking about it, people may stop thinking about it, but even then, it's still a thing. Excuse me.
Well, I mean, the problem is that, every tweet that they put out, you get people who are just like, so where's my crossplay? So where's my crossplay? Like,
yeah.
Because that's just how we handle things now, is we just, complain and complain until the point when either they say, okay, enough, fine, here.
I mean, it's kind of all you can do with something like that, just like to let them know that people aren't going to stop on that, to let them know that that's an issue and there's interest. You don't have to be a dick about it, but hey, just like not letting them forget that that's an issue and they're messing it up. It's kind of all you can do, because boycotting the games isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, they still haven't fixed the name thing. There's still that.
What name thing? The
changing names.
Oh god, the gamer tag. That's still a thing.
It is still.
I hadn't thought about that in a while. See, stop talking about it. And
look what I've done.
That's not as much of an issue for me, but that is dumb.
People want to give you money to let them change their names. Like,
yeah, that's kind of the thing about all of these things. Like, people want to give you money, or people would be more willing to spend money on your platform if you kind of loosen the reins a little bit. Because, like, the crossplay thing isn't going to hurt their bottom line, because people who wanted to play on Xbox or with their friends on Xbox either already have a PS4 or already have the other platform and weren't going to buy the other one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping Fortnite specifically locked out, that's going to make people want to play that on your platform less. Like, that, you're the least safe platform for that game now. That's on every other platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's the goal here?
And it was also, it's always been a thing until the Switch got Fortnite.
Yeah, but
there was just less of a conversation about it because, Sony and Xbox just don't play well together anyways.
Yeah, but there's still, like, there was crossplay between the mobile version and PC and Xbox. already, I believe, or at least a few of those. So it's like that game was already doing crossplay. It just started adding more to it, and then people were looking at that more, and then the Switch popularity kind of shined the bigger light on it. It's like, oh, not only can I not play with my friends, but I'm locked into the PS4 account. Even if, like, no matter how much or how little money you've spent, all your stuff is locked to that one account, and if you want to move, you don't get any of it. That is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you were someone that spent, like, over $100 or more on Fortnite, and I know there's a lot of people that probably spend way more than that on Fortnite, but just as a conservative amount-ish. But, like, just in terms of heavy investment, if you're $100 plus in, and then being told, yeah, all that stuff you bought can't be moved over anywhere else, even though, like, potentially all your friends are playing on every other platform but that one. So it's like, that would be... Those people would be very mad.
Yeah, for sure.
Rightfully so.
Anyways.
Yeah. The Sony thing is a thing. But of course, they're releasing veteran exclusives right now, so we're all playing it anyway. Other topics?
I'm fighting
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Sony thing. Yeah.
I could talk more about details on Dragon Quest since I'm probably the only one that's played it. Just for cool aspects of that, I guess.
Sure.
No spoilers.
No, I'm not even that far into the game anyway. But I really like a lot of the quality of life changes they've made. Like, you know, in like RPGs or anything like that, like when you like get the horse or other kind of transportation, it's usually a ways in. You have to play a couple hours before they give that to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in this one, you finish the opening town, which is like maybe an hour, 2 hours at the most. Like if you're being slow, you finish that opening town and you get the horse immediately. It's like, oh, see you later, and here's a horse for you to enter the open world. You get it instantly, and all across the open world, there are these little bells that you can ring, and a horse will just show up. So that's pretty awesome. But you can also run pretty fast, just on foot, by holding R2, and apparently that wasn't in the Japanese version, so that's a cool addition. But they do a bunch of other stuff, like there's campsites, so you don't have to go to an inn and spend money to rest. If you're like out in the field, you don't have to go all the way back. And you can save and heal there. So that's a really nice addition. You can do your forging, like with the fun-size forge, which is the crafting system in this game. And, there's a little mini game associated with that, which is hit or miss, but it's not frustrating. Yeah, I don't really know what the heck else to talk about with it, honestly. The story is pretty good so far, but it is fairly typical. The game is gorgeous, and the English voice acting is actually pretty good. So the fact that you don't have the Japanese doesn't hurt as much.
Sorry. Yeah. What's the story with Dragon Quest X?
It's an MMO.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, then I don't care.
Yeah, I hate when they number the MMOs. I hate it.
Yeah, I do too. I wish they wouldn't do that. But, you know, Final Fantasy, at least to some degree, they had the sense to create sequels to the ones prior to, for example, and the single player people got 10-2 in place of 11, and we got the 13s and 13-2 and 3 in place of 14. So they've kind of kept, you know, at least the single player ones, you know, in parallel with the MMOs. But yeah, I wish they wouldn't do that. But so we're never going to get. There's no point in getting 10, right?
No, we've never gotten it. We probably will never get it.
Okay.
The last single player one was 8 in terms of the main series. Because 9, you can play it single player, but that was the first one where multiplayer was kind of a focus.
Oh, it was?
DS. That's the only one I don't have of the numbered ones that aren't the MMO. Other than 2 and 3, I don't have those either. But yeah. So like the last like big single player Dragon Quest was 8 on PS2. Other than the remakes on 3DS and DS. Like technically the latest one before would be 7, the remake of that. Which was a substantial remake. Like not to be any slight against that, that's impressive. But just in terms of main releases that are brand new. Which is weird. It's like 10 years more so old. 8 is. When did that come out?
8?
Yeah, I've got that.
It was a PS2 game. It's got to have been 2005, 2004, 5, maybe 6.
Yeah, 5 it says on here.
Yeah.
Or 2004. Well, it says 2004 and 2005, so it's probably 2005.
Yeah, probably in the North America.
Yeah. And you can definitely tell, like that's kind of more of the feel, like sequelizing that in the new one.
Okay.
But God, they just present the story so much better with the cinematics. There's a lot of cinematics, but not like detrimentally so. It's like the amount of cinematics in 11 are equivalent to the amount of like characters standing in front of each other, not actually saying anything, but you're going through text boxes. Instead of that, you're mostly getting cinematics.
Oh, okay.
At least that's how I'm looking at it, because I haven't got as many of those just back and forth text things. But the nice thing about the cinematics in 11 is that they do the text boxes there too. So if you want to like pause and go do something else, you can just let the conversation sit on whatever the last line was. You have to click it forward.
Okay.
Which is kind of nice. But
that's nice. Sorry, I got the wrong impression there.
What?
I got the wrong impression of what you were saying about the last line. You have to click it forward?
Yeah, like someone will say something in the cinematic, and then, like, unless it's like a main cinematic, like the opening, like it won't just progress forward on its own.
Oh, so it'll give you a pause. It'll ask you for input before it moves on?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it goes by really quick. Like if you if you hit the button either as soon as the person is done talking or before they finish, because you can read the dialogue first if you want to get through it faster, they'll just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, didn't you get your copy early?
Oh, yeah, Friday.
And it doesn't, what is it released today?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had it all weekend, right? And
yeah, yeah, 14 hours in.
Where did you order it from?
Amazon. They just goofed and shipped it on Thursday. Or Wednesday it was.
I saw a couple of tweets saying people had got their copies.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
yours
is
was
awesome,
one of them.
especially to get it before the long weekend.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I'm just about to recruit the 5th party member.
Okay.
And like, yeah, it does the actual combat system is the 4-person party, obviously. But you end up getting a total of 7 party members in this title. But so you switch them out. But one really cool thing that I'm not quite far enough to have confirmed this, but one thing I heard on a podcast, on one of the Easy Allies podcasts, so blame them if it's wrong, is that the characters that you have benched in your party that you're not currently using, they will get experience every single fight, regardless if you're using them or not.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like, apparently it's not less than they would get if they were in combat. They get the full experience boost.
Oh, really?
You don't have to grind them individually.
Okay. Didn't Final Fantasy X work that way?
Maybe?
Or I think you had to rotate the character in and just have them do one attack and then they'd get all of the experience. So it's not quite the same. No, but I like that. I like that you can kind of level everyone all up at the same time. That's cool.
Yeah. I think it's apparently because there are several situations in the story where you will be forced to use a certain setup. Like depending on the context.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't happen that much, but they want to give you the option so you're not stuck with like a level 10 when everyone else is level 30 during a story fight. something like that. But just even as a general quality of life improvement, leveling up all your people, even if they're benched at the same time, is a really good feature.
Yeah. Okay.
And I kind of repeated a little bit there because Muskie was just putting his headphones back on.
Yeah, as I'm grinding these scrubs right now.
Yeah, all the individual characters.
What is Musty playing?
6.
Oh, you're still playing 6. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to go to the tower and that first little area, having to split into three individual parties of 4 was not good. Because then I feel like I can't commit all of my main party to one. I have to kind of divide them up, and it wasn't looking so hot. So backed out of there, and now I'm grinding to get some of the people that I just haven't put in my party at all to be serviceable.
Yeah, so just for full context on the Dragon Quest thing, before I finish up the last couple points I wanted to talk about on that was just for Musty's sake that, I was talking about like how you get up to 7 party members in Dragon Quest 11, even though there's the standard 4 slot for the actual battle mode. But everyone that's benched gets equal experience, even if they don't enter the fight. So they all level up at the same time. But which is really nice. I haven't actually gotten far enough in the game to confirm whether that is the case, but I heard it on Easy Allies podcast from Ben. So I think he had played like 60-something hours at that point. So I think he can. I think that's true. But the other things I'll cover just quickly to finish that up is what else did I want to cover? Yeah, in the story mode, like as well as the cinematics, you get a couple like interactive set pieces to keep the flow going, so you're not just constantly watching people talk.
Okay.
Like it's a couple like without getting like too many details, there's like one section that's like a Crash Bandicoot style run away from the enemy that's chasing you, like towards the screen thing, which is fun. Like they don't do that like a ton. I think that was only the one time I saw that, but like stuff like that happens just to keep things moving. But no quick time events, which is important. The other things that are good are well, this is the only like real negative I have with it, but it's kind of more of a minor gripe, is that when you start playing the game, the battle system lets you walk around the map, not walk around the map, but like walk around the battlefield while you're in the fight and doing the commands like you would normally on the turn-based. So it's kind of like Final Fantasy 12, but it's purely visual. It adds nothing to the actual gameplay other than letting you walk around and move the camera on your own. So like most people just switch it back to the classic because it adds nothing. I imagine a lot of people would prefer it that way, but just for people that have played other Dragon Quests and people that just don't necessarily care about like just walking around for no reason, classic is better for me because it has like the dynamic camera angles for like when you're doing a spell, it'll zoom in on you and stuff like that. It's more visually interesting to me.
Cool.
But that's just a minor gripe. It makes you wonder kind of like what the complexity is here, but there isn't any. It doesn't explain it. But that's the only real gripe with it that I have. It doesn't affect like your actual enjoyment. It's just a little confusing. But I think the last thing I'll say on it is the plot is fairly typical so far, but like and there are huge towns and a lot of them, which is pretty cool to explore. But the last thing I'll say is I walked into at least one section of the story where I'm just like, okay, time to take this box off the plot chart. And I wasn't like excited for it at all because like I knew it was coming. I suspected it like 10, 20 minutes ago in the plot where it's like, okay, we're leading to this thing that has been done in like a bunch of other Dragon Quests. And then I walk in and it throws me for a loop. It does something a little bit different and it distracts me on that thread long enough that I kind of forget about it. And then they hit you with it. So it's just like, it distracted me long enough that the plot point that I knew was coming hit me with the full emotional force that it was intended to, and I really appreciated that.
That's cool.
yeah, like it's just this really interesting way they did it to kind of like make you think they're doing something else, but then you see it, but they show it in such a way with the improved presentation of this game that it just actually has the full emotional weight, even if you knew it was coming. So that's pretty cool.
How many have you played? How many Dragon Quests have you played?
I have finished exactly 0 of them because I get easily distracted and these games are super long. But I have played, the first one I played was 8. I think that's the one I played the least of because I was less patient at the time.
Okay.
But, the only one I dislike aspects of mostly is the first one because it's just really, really repetitive.
Yeah.
But and really just the most bare bones, like to the point I said before, like in the original Final Fantasy on NES, they parody it by like having that be the opening chapter. The entire story of Dragon Quest is the opening chapter of Final Fantasy. It's like, okay, now the world's open. I love that. But,
that's funny, yeah.
Yeah, just this little fucking joke. Pardon my language, but if you're aware of Dragon Quest, it's funny. Anyway, yeah, the other ones I played were 4 and 7.
Where'd you play 4?
DS.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I am not paying for that NES version. That's not happening.
And 7, did you play the DS? I know you talked about the remake. Is that the only place you've played it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got into Dragon Quest with 8, so that was way after those games would have been practical to acquire for me.
And what about 5 and 6?
I have them, but I haven't played them yet because I wanted to finish 4. And then it was kind of the situation. I was excited about 7, and I realized it was twice as long as 4. And it's like, okay, I could put 40 hours into 4, or I could put those 40 hours into the first half of 7.
Yeah, I hear 7's really long.
Yeah, I had proceeded to do so and stop before the, or stop right when the job system unlocked in 7. That's where I left off, which was about 40, 50 hours in.
I wish they'd remake 1, 2, and 3 for the DS or 3DS.
That would be awesome. They did remake them for phone, which sounds like, yeah, but they're relatively cheap. I actually did buy, in my hype for the new one, I bought the first one on my phone. Mistake, but it's at least better than the NES one. The graphics are really good, and the controls take a little getting used to with the Phantom control stick. But
yeah,
it's a good way to play the game, and it's only like $3.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they've probably got all the like experience and pacing tweaks from the Game Boy Color and the Super Famicom versions in there, and even better graphics than were on those. The only downside really is that you can only play it in the vertical mode. You don't get landscape. But other than that, for $3, hell, why not?
Oh yeah, for $3, yeah.
For $3,
I just bought
you get
God Hand for $3.
Yeah, but like for that, it's like not having the landscape mode is the only real gripe, and that's kind of forgivable for the best version of the game otherwise.
Yeah, okay.
But they've got I think they've got up through 4 and then 8 on mobile. But they're all like different prices.
Okay.
4 and 8 are the most expensive. I think 2 is $5 and 3 is 10. I would assume that's the American conversion of it. So it's not very much. Way less than buying them on Super Famicom or getting a translator repro or the Game Boy versions. Way cheaper.
There are Game Boy versions of
yeah.
Which ones? Which Dragon Quests are remade? Oh, I have 1, 2, and 3 on Game Boy. I guess I was confused about 4. 4 only ever came out on the DS here, right?
It came out on NES here. That was the one that kind of broke their passion for bringing those over to the US.
You said NES.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, NES and DS, right?
Yeah.
There was no Game Boy version of 4.
Yeah, there wasn't. But I was just talking about the mobile phone version. But yeah, 1 through 3 were originally on Game Boy. Not originally on Game Boy, but the remakes of those.
Yeah.
Which were ported from the Super Famicom ones we never got.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if we got the Super Nintendo versions, because those look really cool.
Yeah.
And they have the tweaks and better graphics.
Sure.
Those are probably the best overall, but the phone ones will do. I don't have a lot of motivation to play 1 and 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Because they're just so antiquated. But 3 is apparently like one of the more popular ones. Like that's when it hit its stride. So that one I might go back and play eventually. Anyway.
Yeah, I like to play through them. I've only ever played 1.
The
When
first one?
with my brother.
You only ever played the first one?
Yeah, because I like to play games in order. And so me and my brother and I sat down with the NES cart, and actually Melissa helped us too. We said, Melissa, we're tired of this. Why don't you grind for an hour or two for us? So she just went around and ground,
Whatever.
did some grinding for us.
Yeah, woof. That's it's okay.
Yeah, it was a very grindy game. I don't remember much about it. This has got to be 10 or more years ago, and I've only ever played it once.
The entire plot of that game is you are a descendant of the hero.
Yeah.
Go fight the bad guy.
Go fight. Yeah, get the
bad guy.
The equipment and
maybe rescue the princess on the way. It's a side quest.
You're kidding. I don't know. I'm
not kidding. That's the only side quest in the game. I think it's the only side quest in the game, like the only official one, other than just a side activity like finding the flute and stuff like that.
I wonder if we did that.
Yeah, you find her in a random dungeon. It's just totally unceremonious.
That's funny. We might have missed it entirely.
Yeah.
But I've always been, I've always been interested in the series, and I always buy the games when they come out.
Yeah. If you're not aware of like how like the story structure like game to game works in terms of other than the ones that are just separate stories entirely.
Yeah.
I think the first 3 are like the Air Direct trilogy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've heard
so,
that. Yeah.
Those stick to that, but you can start 4, and that's kind of the start of a new trilogy.
Okay.
So you don't have to play all of them in order. You can just start with 4 or start with.
That would be very tempting.
7, who cares?
That would be very tempting because at 4, 5, and 6 I have on the NDS.
Yeah, just start with 4 if you want to play them in order. Like you can start at least from that trilogy on.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, a lot of people. Yeah, as I said, a lot of people really like 3. That still appears like really high on lists in Japan. But like, if you just want a practicality, it's 4.
Cool.
Or literally any other one, because they're only very minorly attached to each other.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah. Chris says all of them are grindy.
They are, but not as much as the first one on NES. Nowhere near.
Most 8-bit RPGs were, though.
Yeah, I don't. I'm used to it.
Yeah, that was the beginning of that. I'm not giving it crap for it. I'm just saying it's just a product of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got to the point where it told me, okay, you're able to go fight the dark evil person king, whatever the freaking name of the character was. But I realized how far I needed to grind in order to actually even be high enough level to go to the castle, and I was already like level 15 or something. I was like, I think I'm done. I just quit the game. It's like, you can go fight the final boss now. No, I can't. Off.
No, I can't.
It's just so grindy. We can get off of Dragon Quest now if you want, but I will say in terms of grind factor, the new one is not very grindy. You almost don't have to.
Oh, great.
And metal slimes are a hell of a lot easier to fight. It's the first time I've actually been able to fight and defeat metal slimes.
Okay.
But yeah, we can shift topic now.
Yeah. I'll get it eventually. I'm definitely interested enough to buy it and then put it on the shelf with the rest of them for 20 years. I'll try. I desire to play them, but I'm still going through the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah,
Musty will appreciate that. I've played all the Final Fantasies up through 7. So numerically, 8 is the next Final Fantasy game I have to play. Never played that one.
I played the hell out of that demo disc of 8.
Yeah.
At the time. I never really got into Final Fantasy, but that's the only one, like, that's one of those demos I played just like over and over. I don't know why.
Really?
But like, I just played that a ton.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing, Eric, for you, like, there's so much. If you are way into the whole min-maxing thing, and getting into the numbers behind stuff, like, there is plenty of that for you.
Okay.
If that's how you like to play your RPGs.
Not always. I tend to be a little bit more superficial, but on Final Fantasy V, I kind of got into the job system there. That was kind of interesting, and 6 has got some interesting stuff too. But we'll see. It'll depend on how I feel.
Yeah,
But,
I'm dealing with the 6, like, not having casters with any spells right now.
yeah.
So I'm dealing with that. But my bigger concern right now is getting them up to level, not to, because they can always throw an item that has a spell that they don't use or something.
Yeah.
There's plenty of options that I can use to get by. I've got like 5 people who can cast Ultima right now, so.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
How does the job? I don't remember how the system works in Final Fantasy VI. I've only played it once.
So you equip the Espers.
Yeah.
The Espers have spells associated to them.
Yeah.
And they learn them based off that you get magic points out of your encounters. And that goes to a multiplier to what percentage of the spell you've learned. So, like, example. Ifrit learns fire at a ×10 rate, fire 2 at a ×5 rate, and drain at a ×1 rate. So if you have him equipped, and you can only have one equipped at a time, which is kind of frustrating, but once you've accumulated 10 magic points, then you learned fire for good, even when you unequip him. And so, like, I have a couple of people in my like main party, like the people who I want to take all the way to the end. Like, those guys have, are all pretty much decked out in spells. So, like, all of them can cast Ultima. Most of them can cast like Quake and some of the Holy and things like that.
So you did that by equipping them with the Espers and then having them earn magic points while that Esper was equipped.
Yep.
And then when it hit the 100 level or whatever it is, then that character learned that spell.
Yes.
And you can unequip the Esper and they still have it.
Yep.
But for some reason, you have a number of characters that can't cast any magic.
I haven't had them in my party. And so.
Oh, I see.
I kind of ignored them, and now I'm regretting that.
Can they cast while they have an Esper equipped?
No.
So how do they learn the spell, like the cast action?
They have the cast action, just like everyone has the magic option.
They just haven't gotten to 100 on any spells yet, or?
Yeah, like one of them I have like lightning one, or bolt as they call it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, they've got one spell, and it may have been the spell that they had, like, because I don't know, it may have been built into them when I got them.
I see.
But yeah, like.
Have you reached the half point in the game?
Oh, I'm I'm at 39 hours at this point.
Okay.
I could go to Kefka's Tower right now.
Oh, you could. Okay.
Like, I'm at that stage. Like, I've taken out like 5 of the dragons.
Okay.
I'm just not overly inclined to go do the rest of
So
them.
you're grinding.
That's where I'm at right now.
You're trying to get some guys up. Yeah. Okay. I seem to recall enjoying that game. I apologize. I don't remember the system. I do remember you had to equip the Espers to learn the spells or to do something. And
yeah, I'm not finding myself using the Espers that much. Like, they're not really like encouraged to use because they're kind of buried in a separate menu that you have to actively get go off of the magic menu to get to.
What, to use them as like a summon?
Yeah.
Okay. But you still equip them to teach your characters magic, right?
Yes.
That's the main point, right?
That's the main emphasis there. Yeah. But the 8 takes that whole concept and amplifies it like immensely.
Okay. Well, I'm at some point I'm gonna definitely be in the mood to go back to an RPG, and it'll probably be FF8. FF8 and 9 are 2 gaps I have in my 8, 9. I have to do 10-2, 12, and 15. And 13-3, I suppose. I'll probably go back and play 13 too, because I rushed through that one. Anyway.
I haven't played 13-2 yet.
Just since
It was okay.
Sorry. Just Eric, since you're talking about gaps in your Final Fantasy collection, I'm curious, do you have Tactics, or you probably have the DS version of 3? But
yeah.
And what about Final Fantasy Type 0 HD? Do you have that or Tactics?
I have them both, actually.
Okay.
I have Tactics,
those, but I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I have Tactics for the PS. I tell the story occasionally. I foolishly bought Final Fantasy Tactics in the period of time where it was out of print, but they hadn't announced that they were making it a greatest hits yet. So it was like $80 on eBay.
Oof.
And I kept hearing about what a great game it was. So I finally bit the bullet and bought it. And then a few months later, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to bring this 3-year-old game that nobody's been talking about, the greatest hits. I mean, people were talking about it. The hardcore were talking about it. But
yeah,
it was a long, my recollection of Tactics is it was a long time that game was out of print before they finally put it to greatest hits. So, yeah, I bought that. And then I have it for the PSP also. I've tried playing it a couple times, and I always struggled with it because I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know, I felt like I had a guide for it, and I felt like there was some, like I wanted to do each round like perfectly and get everything perfect, and I'm not good enough, and it was too tricky, and I wasn't going to be able to do it without just sitting in front of a guide. So I've tried it once or twice, and I never got the right momentum from it, so I didn't continue with it. And Type HD, what is it? Type 0 HD, what's it called?
Type 0 HD.
Yeah, I bought that. I bought that a couple years ago. It was on discount at Black Friday or something. I don't know anything about that game. I just bought it on the name.
Yeah, it's odd. It was a PSP game originally.
Oh, it was?
But, yeah, so expect not great graphics. Doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great. But I just figured since you were talking about that stuff, those are ones I have in my sale pile, and we're not that far from each other. I figured I'd offer if you wanted them. Oh,
you're selling Tactics?
I probably am. I feel like I should try it once more, but I have not gotten into any Final Fantasy other than
that's right. You said
14.
That, yeah.
It's just not selling for me. I don't know what it is about the mechanics in that game and how they just keep. It just feels like, ooh, new gimmick each title, rather than let's focus on the core mechanics and get these solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which version of Tactics? Is it PlayStation or PSP?
PS1 Greatest Hits Edition.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the PS1 version.
Yeah, it's like I'm not desperate to sell them. I just happen to have them on hand.
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. No, I got those. Another one I might want to play too is Crisis Core, which is a PSP prequel to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, PS prequel.
That's right, PS prequel.
What about Dirge of Cerberus?
I have that too. That's not an RPG though, is it?
No,
it's a shooter.
It's a shooter.
I bought that at PRGE one year. I'm like, oh, I've heard about this. I should just grab this. There's a couple of Final Fantasy games I don't have. I think you've got one that I don't have, Musty. One of the Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah. So there are 3 Final Fantasy games. If you count, there's a Chocobo Chocobo thing. But there's 2 Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on Wii.
Yeah, I don't have either one of them. I have the one on GameCube, the first Crystal Chronicles, when Square and Nintendo were just barely starting to get along again.
Yeah.
They had a falling out for many years, and I seem to recall it was newsworthy when that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was coming to GameCube. Because Square had been absent from, or Final Fantasy had been absent from Nintendo since the Super Nintendo. Which now doesn't seem like a long time because it means it was just absent on the N64. But back then it had been a something like a 6-year gap, so it was kind of a big deal. Yeah, I don't have all those Crystal Chronicles, and there's some side ones I don't have, but
yeah, there's like the Chocobo dungeon, which is like a roguelike.
That's okay. I stick with the numbered series unless they're MMOs, and I got a couple of spinoffs. But I'd love to play. Yeah, I'd like to get through the Final Fantasy games. That's a goal of mine. I'd love to get through the Dragon Quest games. That's another goal. Skies of Arcadia, Shenmue. There's a ton of RPGs I've never played. I wonder which ones I'll play.
It's just such a time commitment. I mean, that's like I was saying with this. I thought I could be done in like the 28-hour mark, and I'm nearly at 40.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. That's how I felt with. It took me a year to play Final Fantasy V. And I think that somewhere between, I can look it up. I got it in my spreadsheet. Somewhere between 50 and 60 hours I spent on that one.
Obligatory recommendation to check out Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime on DS. Not one of the RPG games, but just this really fun side game. It does not get enough love.
Do you play, have you played the Dragon Quest Heroes?
The PS4 game?
Yeah.
The Dynasty Warriors type. I've played a little bit of the first one.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this. I bought the first one, but the second one now is coming way down, and Best Buy has it for cheap. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to buy the second one. I've never even played the first one, and it's a spin-off series. It's like Warriors. Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, it's the Dynasty Warriors type. But apparently there are a lot of the RPG elements, so it's like almost an action RPG.
Okay. They've been doing that a lot. They did that with Hyrule Warriors. Isn't that a Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah.
And Fire Emblem Warriors?
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of these games I need. Okay.
For me, all I need is Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage. Do not need Ken's Rage 2. That was not very good, apparently.
Okay.
That's the only one I've played a ton of, is the this one. I played like 30 hours of this.
Is that what is that? Is that a Dynasty Warriors type game?
Yeah, it's Dynasty Warriors
with
style, Fist of the North Star anime and manga series.
I don't know if I've ever even heard. I mean, I'm familiar with Fist of the North Star, but
yeah,
cool. Xbox 360, huh?
Yeah, I think it's on PS3 as well, but this is a good version. You can play this. It goes through the manga story instead of the anime story. It's a little clunky in presentation. The English voices are kind of hilarious, but it gets you from point A to point B at least. Gameplay is good. Lots of punching. Speaking of Fist of the North Star, I'm actually downloading the demo that just went live today of Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, which is the Yakuza team's Fist of the North Star game. I am very much looking forward to playing a game where they do Fist of the North Star. Their madness combined with that madness.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when the game comes out. It's like a month or two away. But the demo just went live today, so I'll be playing the hell out of that tonight. Unless I'm tired after this, which I probably will be.
Yeah, well, maybe we won't.
Yeah, no one else is coming on.
No, the chats. I'm looking at the chat. Hi, Cartridge Fun. I also have Dragon Quest Builders, which I hear good things about.
Yeah, I have that too.
But I imagine that has
nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with the RPGs.
There's a minor connection, but in gameplay, no.
Yeah.
The minor connection is it's kind of technically, this is from like videos I've watched the last couple days, I could be recalling incorrectly, is it's kind of a semi-sequel to the first one, where you're a descendant of Erdrick again.
Okay.
It's kind of like an alternate, it's like an alternate Dragon Quest 2 almost, from what I remember. But like Minecraft instead.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Did someone join?
Hello,
Or is that the
Chris.
chat? Oh, hello, Chris.
You have to unmute
You're
yourself.
on mute.
There you go. Okay.
Yep. How's it going?
All right.
Bill wants
Dude,
to
that-
see what's in those boxes there, Eric.
Huh?
He wants to know what's in all those boxes behind you.
Who does?
Bill.
I'll show him mine if he shows me his.
Hmm.
Doesn't he have a whole stack of boxes? This stuff is my pickups from Game On Expo and C3.
That's
There's nothing you guys haven't seen.
Oh,
You just have to clean them.
Joe always gives him a hard time about. Always thinks those are going to fall on Bill's
Yeah.
head.
One day he's going to go to Bill's house and find Bill buried under his boxes. Yeah, there's nothing back there. There's some Game Gear games I got from Kevin that need to be cleaned, and some Atari games. And then this one closest here is a GameCube that I'm thinking about getting rid of. Every now and then, the local store will offer me what I consider to be a pretty good price for GameCube systems.
On that note, you guys want to do pickups?
Sure.
Okay, I can get rid of mine because I only have one other to show other than the game I've talked about already. And I mentioned it last week, so it's obviously Dragon Quest XI and Shenmue. Which
Oh,
I
what'd you
picked
buy
the wrong
Shenmue?
time. I picked the wrong time to pick up Shenmue because this came out immediately after, or at least I got it early. It's like I played like 2 hours of this, and it's like, oh, Dragon Quest. Whoop. Well, I'm looking forward to playing that eventually. Anyway, that's me done.
Yeah, I'll go. This is gonna be sad. 3 NES dust sleeves, 2 Super Nintendo dust sleeves. Ta-da!
Wow.
I went. I tried. I went to my shop looking for stuff, and it just I couldn't pull the trigger on anything. I didn't feel. They even had a buy 2 get 1, and I was just like, okay, so. Yeah, it was like what I would have had to spend out of pocket to get. Like, that's that shop that has a copy of that Wii Sports Club.
Wii
On the
Sports
Wii
Resort?
U. No, the Wii U one, the disc
Oh.
version of the Wii U one, which is like,
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
You didn't pull the trigger on it?
no, it's still there though.
$60. Yeah, it's still there.
60, but I can get it down to 48 with this.
Yeah, but it's still sitting there because no one's going to pay 60 for
Right.
it, right?
But if I could, I wonder if I could take advantage of that discount and that deal simultaneously. They might not let it happen. Nope. Yeah, so I'd have to either buy that one separately at that price. I love Wii Sports.
Yeah, it's a little high. And I looked at the digital version, and they want $10 a sport. So it's $40 to get it digitally.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, all right. Chris, you got anything?
Yeah. So let's see. I bought. Let's see. So Demon's Crest, which apparently went up in
Dude.
price. That went up in price.
You're always buying top shelf stuff, man.
I know. I need to cut that out.
No, man, I live vicariously through you. Show me your expensive TurboGrafx games.
No. No way. Let's see. So this I got for half off. I had a half off coupon for Sparkster. And then some filler titles. So Karate Kid, Rocket Ranger, Days of Thunder. And then I was talking to Trav from Polykill, and I realized I didn't have any Simpsons games, NES Simpsons games, so I bought a couple. And they're not. I think their gameplay is not that great, but let's see. So Bart versus the World. Let's see. Bart versus Space Mutants.
Woof.
Yeah. Games. And then I bought, let's say, I guess next month's portable game. So, Luigi's Mansion
Cool.
Nice.
and Ease 8.
Oh, very nice.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to get to it eventually. I was going to do what Eric likes to do and go through them in order, but that would take forever. I'm going to probably start with. I'm going to at least look at one first, where I guess you're just.
You got it on the turbo.
Yeah, where you're just sort of bumping into enemies.
Those are probably on sale on GOG right now. Because they're doing a big
Yeah, you can get them
sale.
all on PC. Yeah.
Yeah, including the Vita game that I bought right before they announced that.
Salsetta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess this would count to my mom. Amazon had a slip up a while ago. My mom just never. They sent 2 Maddens from my nephews like these games, so they sent. So she had an extra new sealed copy of Madden 16, so I guess I'll sell it. So that was it.
Nice.
Cool. All right, I have one thing to show, maybe 2, depending.
Sure.
Depending on your curiosity. Best Buy is if you spend $30 or more, or if you buy a $30 game, they'll throw in Destiny 2 for free.
I got that for $5. Not
Destiny 2.
Everyone on PS Plus just got that for free.
Yeah, well, depending on how I want to do the accounting, I got it for free too. They threw it in for buying a game over $30.
Nice. The new expansion just came out today. Bad time to release that with Dragon Quest and SpiderMan coming out this week.
I'll never.
Well, I think that's going to be a common theme through the rest of this year. Is it's going to be a bad time for a lot of things. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's all the 20% off memberships went bye, so it's another thing.
That was the other thing you picked up.
Yeah. Okay. So the game that I bought to get that was Overcooked 2.
Hey,
Oh, nice.
awesome.
After
I had
hearing,
no idea that was a physical copy available.
yeah. Well, apparently, Overcooked 1 wasn't available physically in Canada. I don't know if that's true. I ended up, or at least RetroPixel had a hard time getting a physical copy. So when he got me Sonic the Hedgehog for the Master System, so I sent him a physical copy of Overcooked 1, which I think he was grateful for. I thought he said he couldn't find it physical where he was, but after hearing Flock talk and Kevin and Sarah talking about Overcooked 2, we decided to. I said, "Oh, I can get this, and they'll throw in Destiny, and it's $30, and I'll get my Gamers Club unlocked." And so,
yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Even I mean, if you assign any value to that Destiny disc,
yeah,
that helps.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I bought my Xbox One to play the first Destiny. I bought my Xbox One the same week that the original Destiny came out, and I only played it for a little bit. I never really got into it, so I passed on Destiny 2. But I thought, oh, what the heck, having the sequel, why not?
Play through the main campaign on that and let us know if you want to do multiplayer on it. Musty,
Sure.
You probably still have your copy.
It's digital, so yes.
Oh, you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Well, my choice is how quickly I renew my gold.
Yeah. And if you buy the expansions.
Yes.
I will probably buy Forsaken. I'm not in any rush. Impressions of the game, of the expansion, could change my mind. I don't have much confidence in it. Because the first however many hours when you play the story and then you get through, like, the first, like, probably, I guess, I've probably put 60 hours plus into one character on Destiny 2 before getting bored. So that's not a small amount of time before it stops being worth it. But just in terms of Destiny being one of those games that's supposed to be like ever continuing and having like a bunch of end game stuff like the original one had, it just kind of hits a brick wall and stops being fun. So it kind of ruined my impression of it, you know?
Mm.
But I would be willing to pick it up and play it again. Multiplayer, if you wanted to do that. We haven't done a Xbox game night in a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
I think we played Overwatch a little bit before E1 left.
Yeah.
That was the last then.
Has anybody played? You were talking about expansions. We were talking about expansions briefly. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Has anybody played the expansions for Final Fantasy 15?
No.
Okay.
I haven't played through since they started to do a lot of the major revisions.
Okay. I keep seeing the Royal Edition and the Royal Edition expansions going on sale. I have the regular edition. I'm just wondering if they're worth buying.
I mean,
I would say it probably.
Sorry, go ahead.
I would say it probably is worth it because from what I had heard of the add-ons, it sounds like it's an entirely different, not entirely different, but a substantially different game than it was when I played through it.
That's weird. That I don't know if I find that appealing or troubling. So I never played Final Fantasy 15.
That did. Sorry, the intriguing but troubling sounds like the general impression I've gotten about that game whenever I look it up. It's
okay.
That I'm sorry, but even my own preference against Final Fantasy on top of that game looks like a hot mess. Like a very ambitious hot mess, but just in terms of how the story goes through and all the different expansions and all the separate material that you have to watch in order for things to make sense.
Yeah.
And the combat system being like holding A button.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like you hold circle or B in order to attack. Is that right, Musty?
So I would equate the combat more to Kingdom Hearts than a Final Fantasy, like traditional Final Fantasy game. But things are happening in real time, yes. All of your teammates have kind of their pattern, and you can kind of set their tendency to do certain things, or whether they will tend to do team-up actions with you in favor, or not do them in favor of other things. But you can hold the button and it will go through sort of this flow of actions. I don't remember. I can't. It was. I mean, I'm coming up on 2 years since I finished that game.
2? It's that old? Jeez.
It was end of 2016. It was November 2016 when that came out.
I'm not saying it's necessarily bad, by the way. It just looks so weird.
Yeah.
And the problem is the demos that they put out, like the Platinum demo and Duske, like both of those were vertical slices that,
are not representative of the final game.
Not really, no. Like they're a chance to kind of get you into the world and kind of get a feel for things, but like the Platinum demo was so weird. Some really weird stuff that's happening in that demo. But yeah, I liked it. So don't let any of my what seems to be hesitancy to discuss it be a critique against it. It's just
it's been a while.
It has been a long time, and I can't speak to anything that's changed because I played through it even before they changed. Like they dialed back the difficulty on one of the chapters. So I can say I went through it before the difficulty dropped. Like P2, I think, also was able to get through it before they nerfed that section a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard the side character stories were really good.
I've heard the same, but I cannot speak to that. Which is unfortunate because like the problem is that, you know, when they started to release all these you know, later editions, it's like, is there going to be more? Because they're talking about this game having even more legs. But yeah, like for somebody who has already gone through the game, it's like how does that work? I find that odd. Because I think a lot of people's argument was that it was like they specifically took like a chapter that would have fallen here, and it just wasn't there. It was just like an ellipsis between this section and this section, and now it's the DLC. And it was fine in the story because it was, you know, this character goes off and does something and then comes back. You know, it's a lot of that's not uncommon in Final Fantasy games to have party members who leave and then return later. But yeah, it's someday
I hope it needs me.
Someday I'd like to go back and play through it. It's just I want them to like. I almost want to wait now since I've already played through it once. I almost want to wait until they are truly done. Because I mean, even so, when I played, the car was you couldn't drive. I mean, you could drive the car, but you couldn't leave the road. Now the car is entirely off-road. You can drive it wherever.
Isn't like this ridiculous monster truck then for off-road?
There is, I think, an option for that. The car can also sprout wings and fly. So
it's amusing, but it's also real weird.
Yeah, pretty weird.
But I know people like that game, but it's almost
it's great.
like
The story is good. The story is really good, and the problem is you need to wait through this open world stuff until you get it's the polar opposite of 13.
Yeah, it's like it's got an MMO world, but there's not much in it.
Yeah, I mean, or I mean, there is a lot to do. It's just not what traditional Final Fantasy people are going to expect. And I think that's where some people, I think, run into issues with it.
Yeah, it just every time I kind of want to get into it, but it's kind of like every other Final Fantasy where it's like I kind of want to get into it, but it's something that's just not right to me. And I don't mean to bash the game at all, but it is kind of like, for me personally, it looks like everything that I don't like about the other Final Fantasies, except all at once. Like just the weird convolution and not being clear on the story and having all these side chapters and things are going on elsewhere. And you have to watch a movie to get the context of something. And it's just... I will stick to Dragon Quest, thank you.
Sure. Kingsglaive helps.
Yeah. I know you don't have to,
yeah,
but you know what I mean.
It's not the sole source, but it does help. I'm not gonna kid about that.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things you look at it and you're like, what the hell is this game? When you try and figure it all out, you know? From the outside looking in, not having played it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to poo-poo on it every single time you bring up a point. It's just...
No, I understand.
I was looking at it recently, and it just put me off so much. The game's beautiful, which is the thing. It's like, it looks so fun, but it's so weird.
I haven't gone back since they put in the 4K patch. So I'm sure that it would look fantastic.
If it was a more cohesive package, I would definitely be into it. And by cohesive, I mean like all the movie stuff and the Brotherhood show, like that all happens within the context of the game instead.
Yeah.
I swear I want to like Final Fantasy. It just never happens. Except for 14, which I'm sure would piss people off that the only one I like is the MMO. Anyway.
Sorry, I was in menus.
Fine.
Almost done with this guy. And I'm gonna bring in the guy. Yeah, time to bring in the next set of weak people.
Seize the opportunity to do all my PlayStation updates that have racked up since I played Dragon Quest last somehow. No patch for Dragon Quest, oddly enough.
Yet.
Jesus.
Yet, but it came out today. You'd think it would be up.
I know P1 was saying he wasn't going to buy Doom because of that large download that you have to
On Switch, yeah.
On the Switch. I experienced that when at my parents'. I had to download I had to wait like an hour for everything for the content to download onto my Switch.
Solution: don't buy the Switch version.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
It wasn't worth.
That's a totally valid way to play it.
But I see his point.
It is disconcerting. Is it like only the multiplayer or what?
That's what I heard. There's also performance updates though that are buried in that update, so it's not like you could skip it.
That sucks.
It's so irritating how long it takes to load after you die.
Oh god, that I am sure that is not improved by the Switch. That happens on PS4 too. It's like a solid minute.
Yeah.
Or two. Like every time you die, it sucks so bad.
I had to lower the difficulty because I was so sick of that.
Yeah, that is the only like major flaw of that game is those load times. And I get it's just because the areas are so large. But like you're just so quick into the action and then you die and it's like watch this screen for a minute and a half. And then try again. Think about what you did.
And then I nod off and say, "Oh, hit B, okay."
Yep. It's like putting you in the corner to punish you. Kind of similar to Symphony of the Night, the original death screen for that. Woof. The game over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we're getting close to PRGE time. So.
Yeah, we're under 50 days.
So we'll see if Dean and Chris Roberts show up.
If you guys want to talk about PRGE stuff, I vetoed that last week just because it was late, so you guys can pick up on that if you want to.
Sure.
It's in the... What? What? Yeah. Sorry. What are you laughing about?
She peeked around the corner.
Yeah.
You saw her?
Yeah.
She's probably trying not to. Hopefully she's not indecent. I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll wait until he's back to step away.
I'm just curious as to what the vendor floor is going to look. I guess the vendor's inventory is going to be what's going to be like. That's all. Just because I think Midwest was kind of meh, and then I think I guess that could have been the snow, but. And I thought, I don't know. I think when I went to Too Many Games, I thought that was just okay. So I don't know if it's nationwide or if it's just the retro scenes sort of.
It's the thinning of
all the inventory. Everybody's retro is big right now. Everybody's bought everything up.
is.
Because I'm pretty sure all the panelists are going to be the usual suspects at PRGE.
Yeah, the pictures just went up too on all of that with Riggs and all the Metal Jesus guys, and I have to wonder if that means now that Riff will be there. Now that he has been anointed. One of the
Part of it's back, so I'm gonna step away for a minute. I will be back. I'm just taking the opportunity. Since I can't add much to PRGE talk.
But you could.
So who's been anointed?
Aaron has been brought into the MJR crew.
Oh, so what does that mean? Is he going to be at PRGE?
That's what I'm wondering, if that equates to him being there.
Oh, I don't know. He hasn't been there in a few years.
Yeah,
there was one year where, if you guys watched, if you guys remember his old videos, he used to have his brother on. Riff's brother. I think he moved. I think he had moved up to Portland. We saw him there one year, and it was just him. It wasn't with the NES Pursuit crew.
I hate to say it, I don't like pixel glasses. Trying not to like. I just don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pushing their own line of those, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not buying them either, so.
No.
I mean, you could have got them from ThinkGeek 5 years ago. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, they've been around. I just, yeah. I don't know.
Well, all right. What'd you guys talk about? I was going to say Jay Dubious was in the chat. He said he was buying his stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I got my ticket bought. Jay Dubious was in. Oh, there he is. I see it.
It's a little bit back there. Booking my flight. Yay. What about you, Chris? Are you coming?
Yeah. I think. Well, I'd better get there because
he's got the room.
Yeah.
Did you guys sort out your room arrangements between you and Rocket and Julian and everybody?
Rocket is staying with his buddies.
Okay.
And then Julian is taking one of the beds.
Yeah.
And I will sleep on the floor.
And he was uncomfortable with sharing beds.
Who's your other roommate? You, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dean doesn't have a roommate?
He was going to stay with me, but I think he's not sure, I guess, if he can make it.
Musty, you stayed with Rocket the last couple of years, the first year you came, didn't you?
The year I did, yeah, I stayed with him.
And who did he stay with last year, Dean? They probably stayed together.
And Rob, maybe?
Yeah, is Rob coming again?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not sure because I haven't been in touch with him in a bit.
Did you stay in that same hotel too, Chris?
Yeah.
The one right across? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask this idea. We're floating it. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but you think Melissa and I are considering maybe staying there Friday night? Okay.
Well,
I'm sensing a whole lot of indifference.
Well, I think you'd almost be better Saturday night, to be totally honest.
Why?
Oh, wait, no, you're saying stay Friday night so that you could be down there as early as you need to be on Saturday.
Saturday, which is the first day, and it's the
Gotcha.
earliest day.
I'm following now.
You're staying down there Friday night, right, Musty? You're only staying in our city Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
that's just to save the extra half-hour drive after leaving your. I mean, basically, that's what that is for us. Is just we can not have a long drive from your house to the hotel and not have to go all the way into Portland to get a spot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. So we were thinking about maybe staying. I'm not sure we're gonna, but we thought maybe it'd be cool to stay down there Friday. You know, I don't know if you guys are up for it. Some of those late night hotel things are they're a little bit they get a little exhausting, especially since you got to be up because I mean, the expo opens at 9. We were getting up at like 6 a.m. to get down there on time in past years, and we thought maybe if we were just at the hotel, you know, we could stumble out of bed and walk across the street, you know.
Well, at least this one Booking.com says only one room left.
Oh well,
It's
okay. So chances are the decision's going to be made for us. I never think about that. I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll just book it whenever, forgetting that there's a whole expo and people are coming from out of town.
And then there's a luxury hotel, I think, on the other corner, like across the street, but that might be $30 or $40 more a night.
Is that one that's like orange? It's like orange and lots of glass. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I always see peanut butter. I think last year I saw Space Hamster and Peanut Butter Gamer going in there. I think they're staying there.
They're going to be back. It looked like.
Yeah, those guys all live in like Seattle area.
How is the hotel compared to the Holiday Inn for C3? Better or worse?
Worse.
Worse. It's
my gosh!
It's old.
It's the classiest 2-star hotel you've ever seen.
It's just
all
dated. Right. It's just dated. That's all.
Okay.
It's not. No, I could see any bed bugs or anything.
No.
It's clean, but it's old.
Yeah.
A lot of avocado sink fixtures, avocado colored sinks.
Beige.
Well,
okay. Are we talking like 60s dated or 80s dated?
80s?
70s?
It's 80s, I guess.
Yeah, 80s. Yeah, 80s is about right.
Okay.
The ceilings in the hallway are not that tall. Like if I jump, I'm putting my head through ceiling panels. Like not a big jump either. Like if I hopped, I'd be grazing the ceiling. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, maybe the decision is made for us if there's only one room left. Anyway. All right. That sounds cool.
I don't know. I booked a while ago. I think it was $105 a night, maybe $110 a night.
That's not bad.
And I think now it's $155. So.
Oh, they raised the rates. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm surprised it's that much. That's all.
Well,
make a very minor interjection to say one thing I forgot about with Dragon Quest. I just started playing it again. Is they give you a story recap every time you start the game back up, so you can go away for a long time, and then it'll just catch you right up before you start the game back in, which is really cool. That. Anyway, I will go back to that now and let you guys continue.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get that game. All right. Oh, I meant to look up the website. They got a countdown timer on there yet?
There's a countdown timer, and there's pictures of the big guests.
Oh, they got those up now, huh?
Yeah, on the carousel up front.
Oh yeah, I heard about Kinsey's picture. They said it was perfect.
Well, it's the thumbnail from one of her beer videos.
Yeah. So they got the usual Atari guys. They got the Seattle guys. The Seattle YouTubers, I mean, all the Metal Jesus's crew. Activision, there's Kinsey. Oh, Gamester's coming, okay. I don't know who these guys are. Space Hamster? Who the heck is that?
It's sort of a younger demographic, I guess, watches this stuff.
When I was down at Game On Expo, I got introduced to a guy. I just thought he was a guy. He's on a YouTube channel called Lots of Games. Do you know this person? James or Jimmy? Have you guys ever heard of the YouTube channel Lots of Games?
Mm-mm.
I'm looking at the channel just to see.
Okay. So I just met this guy.
I have watched a video of his before. Wow,
He's what?
got a lot of subs. Like that's a
Yeah. That was my point. Is I was just talking to this guy and we were just chatting up, and then I learned he's got 150,000 subs or something.
He's been going since 07. That's
I
think part of it. He's got 800 videos out there.
Yeah. Big YouTube guy. Had no idea. I was just chatting with him. So what's my point? Oh, my point was I don't know who this other guy is. I hadn't heard of Peanut Butter Gamer for a long time until he came to PRGE one year, and now there's this, what's his game? Space Hamster? Yeah, I don't know who these guys are. Are they Let's Players or something?
Yeah.
Is that why I don't know who they are?
That's one thing they do. Yeah.
It looks like he does stuff that Cygnus Destroyer does. Like, here's a bunch of Smash Brothers mods or fan games with Toad in it.
Okay.
Or like Zelda, like mods and hacks but they're framed around Let's Plays.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially.
Man, I want the auction stuff to come up.
Part of me doesn't even want to look at that.
I know. I always look though, and then most of it, there's usually like at most one or two things that. The only thing that ever seriously caught my eye that I was willing to bid on was that Master System kiosk, and that went out of hand far too quickly.
I thought they had so Kelsey got the exercise bike for the. What system was that for? To go
Super
with
Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, did she get that one last year? I'm looking at that now. The Life Cycle.
Yep. And she did the video on it, and then I think she sold it, or I think she is selling. Like she's not keeping it. Like she bought it to do the video and donate to charity, or donate to put that money back into the expo. But
cool. So I didn't know she got it from the expo. I thought she found it somewhere else.
Yeah, I think Pat was trying that. Now I remember. Yeah, I think Pat Contry was trying to get her to write for his book about it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought she was just a Metal Jesus kind of a person on Metal Jesus. I mean, I know she has her own store, but she's also involved in this video game preservation thing. She had a panel at PAX, which I think is a big deal.
Well, the pink
that's big
booth, the pink gorilla booth was massive from the looks of it.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. That's crazy. But she was also on a panel about video game preservation or something. So,
well, she does a lot of videos that are like about the really obscure stuff. Like she did those Game Boy sewing machines.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. The sewing machines. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right. Well, looking forward to the expo coming up. I forgot to check the time. I got on the site to check how many days are left, and I still
44.
44. What are we? Oh, October 19th through 21st. Okay. So yeah, 6 weeks or so. Yeah, a little more than 6 weeks. Cool. Yeah. Very exciting.
And the nice thing is, I won't have to worry about like jet lag in the moment either, because I'll be more than acclimated by that point.
That's right, you will be. Cool.
I will not. I think. Usually when I fly home, I feel terrible.
Well, yeah, that's it.
I think if you fly west to east, I think that's when you really feel it, especially over that many time zones. Do.
So they've pushed this expo back. It used to be in September.
So I think what's that? The convention Retro World Expo. I think that Pam and Will always go to. I think they pushed theirs back to September. I think because there's starting to compete with Portland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember Pam and Will were talking about either going to Portland or Retro World, and I guess they decided to.
Well, and then Pam got a panel. Did you see that?
Oh, she did. She's on a panel at Retro World.
Yep.
She had one last year too.
Isn't that the Screenwave guys?
Yeah.
Is that why? Because she's part of that,
so.
isn't she?
She's submitted stuff for what's the website called?
Retroware TV.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, she's
Retroware. That's it. Yeah.
But she's with Rewind Mike and Mike Tendo.
Cool.
2 mics.
Yeah.
What's that? I think that guy was it Wrestling with Gaming. If you ever watch his channel, I think that guy's going to Portland. I don't think he has a panel or anything. Trying to think.
Wrestling with Gaming?
Yeah, he kind of does. His videos are very similar to Gaming Historians.
Interesting.
Where's it? I think.
All right. I think I'm going to take off. We will see you guys next week.
All right.
See you, Eric.
Have a good night.
You too. I think you guys are entranced with whatever, or concentrating, I think, on whatever you're playing. Looks like.
Both playing different RPGs. I just realized I have a side quest that I forgot to do, or forgot to finish up. There aren't that many side quests in this game, at least not so far. Like, apparently the game doesn't like get to a point where you need to start grinding or anything until you get all 7 party members. So it's kind of light on side quests right now.
Oh, I'm playing Octopath Traveler, which is very heavy on the side quests.
Yeah. Okay, I'm in the right town for that. Yay, no traveling. And do we have much else to talk about? If we're
I'm trying to think.
yeah, if we both are playing RPGs now.
I don't know. I was trying to think of stuff. I was trying to think of something, a good question to ask about the future of the Cartridge Club with you, with Musty and Ryan at the helm, but I cannot think of it. I think I had a question I would forget.
We're excited for this month for sure. I'm hoping people really dig it. I saw there were already more posts on the forum thread than there were days in the month so far. So that's a good sign.
I know my friend, I think, played it and beat it. He and his brothers beat it. I think they had nothing but good things to say about it. When it came. But I forgot. I didn't realize how difficult it was until I started playing it, because I went with the middle difficulty and I had to dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah, if you end up getting yourself extended too far, like it's like a dance. Like you can't get you have to keep active, but you can't get too wild with it.
Because that's my problem with those sort of games, is I keep wanting to do melee attacks, and then it got even worse when I realized that the demons drop all sorts of health items when you eviscerate them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of would get into trouble, because I think you kind of ricochet, or not ricochet. You kind of get knocked back when you punch them. And so it's taking me a second to, because I don't normally play this type of game, so it's taking me a little bit to acclimate myself.
Yeah, like I love finding the berserk power up. Like the first time you run into that, that's a good time.
Mm.
It doesn't seem to last long enough. It lasts. That's all right, but
Do you think maybe it's a quiet night because of everyone just going back to work after Labor Day?
that's got to be part of it. Bill's here though. Bill's in the chat.
He is at work.
There is that. Yeah. I think it's also just because of the holiday weekend. Like there wasn't as much. Granted, there was a lot of news. But not as much like big news. Or maybe it's big news to somebody and just not everybody.
What is?
Stuff like we had that surge of like last week. It was like retro game announcement, retro revival, and then and so we were coming on the heels of that.
Yeah, like the Streets of Rage 4 and Messenger and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
saw the interesting deal for the Messenger, that you could buy the Messenger at a discount if you owned another Devolver Digital game.
Okay.
On Switch. So if you had digitally purchased one of their other games, you got a discount on Messenger.
I haven't, so.
Yeah. It's like, that's a sneaky way to get somebody to buy your other games.
If it works.
Sure.
I'll probably just wait for it to go on sale, but I do want to play that.
Oh, no, I'm a sucker for ninja games. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah.
Looks good. I mean, it's just a little bit that I've seen that looks pretty good.
Yeah, like it's got the transition between the 8-bit and 16-bit style graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got that glide. You can do the stuff where you can keep airborne if you like like you can do another double jump after you hit something,
Mhm.
like an enemy or one of their equivalent to the candles. But the candles, the other stuff for like that, they don't break. They just become other things for you to jump off of.
Well, it's kind of like the Spectre of Torment stuff that was added to. Yeah.
Oh, so many games.
Right.
SpiderMan. I know Josh is getting really excited about that. I think it's his favorite franchise, or one of his favorite, I guess, Marvel characters.
Yeah. I'm glad I got that on a pre-order. Like last E3, they were doing that deal in Canada where it was like $30 off a pre-order, and so I'm getting it for it's regularly 80 in Canada, but I'm getting it for 50. So that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm getting the same for Red Dead 2 and a whole bunch of other things. Not Dragon Quest, unfortunately. That was full price. But I'm getting a lot of gameplay out of it, so it's not like I'm regretting that at all.
Oh well, I guess I'll have to get some use out of my Gamers Club unlocked before it goes away in April. So.
You're at least lucky that you have it till April.
Yeah, my friend bought it like a week before they announced they were canceling it, so I probably could bum off of him if I wanted to. So, but there's some people that like bought multiple. Like I guess they must have been clued off by some people that work at Best Buy, and then they bought multiple. I guess they tried to extend it a couple of times, so to try to get like 4 years. I don't know if they'll honor it though, for that long.
I feel like they almost have to if they took the money for it.
Yeah. But who knows? I'd sound like I don't know if Amazon almost sound like they're. I know they were basically. I know Best Buy basically started because of Amazon, but I wonder if I guess the damage had been done. Because Best Buy keeps. I don't know. They keep trying. They keep trying to reinvent themselves or change. So I guess they're trying to be a little more agile. They closed a bunch of stores, and then they're trying to do more stuff with appliances and high-end audio. So, but I always wonder how much longer they have, because it doesn't feel like they're going to be around for too much longer.
Yeah, for new releases, it was kind of just like nothing this year in terms of major releases that I was really going for. And then because I got like two games, like two like major new games that weren't re-releases, because I got Captain Toad, but like God of War and Monster Hunter World, and I played one of those. And now it's like, oh, there's 7 games coming out that I want, that I like do not feel the need to skip over. Like, I'm not getting Tomb Raider, and I'm definitely canceling that Pokemon game. But just a ton of stuff. Darksiders 3, Red Dead, obviously, which I don't have a choice in. My mom likes that one, but I have no experience with it. Which I'm gonna play the first one with the game of the month. And God, what else is there? SpiderMan, obviously.
Starlink.
Nope. Just look. I can't remember all of them. too far. I know I don't have all of them pre-ordered, so I'm just going to the Wikipedia list of games for the year. So SpiderMan.
Spyro?
Yeah, Spyro. This North Star Lost Paradise. I know that's just me. But around that is Forza Horizon 4 and Mega Man 11 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm not getting any of those right away, but holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I am getting Forza, whether I like it or not. RE2. Nope, not RE2. That's later. Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not getting this, but Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom comes out on November 6th. Yes.
Even with this surplus of games, there will be complaints.
What?
Even with this abundance of new games, there will be complaints.
Yeah, about not being enough new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, early games sucking or whatever the hell. People will find a way to complain. Darksiders 3, November 27th. And Smash on December 7th.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, what's January? Like, I know there's a game like right after.
January, it's RE2 remake.
That's one of them. But there's one I'm planning to pick up, but I don't remember what it is. Change lists. Onimusha. That's not what I was trying to think of, but definitely that. Kingdom Hearts 3. Because of course.
We got that.
More RPGs. What? What did you say?
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, of course.
Yeah, the games they have listed for January so far on the Wikipedia is Onimusha on the 15th, which is actually getting a physical release. I keep forgetting about that. The remaster of the first one, just if anyone's not familiar. Ace Combat 7, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes on Switch, and only on Switch apparently. Resident Evil 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. That's what they have listed. Even if that's it, that's a lot of good stuff. And then Anthem in February.
Anthem and Crackdown and
Days Gone, Metro Exodus. Then in March is Devil May Cry 5 and Sekiro. Yikes. Hopefully in August, Shenmue 3.
Are you skeptical?
I'm going to be skeptical until that game comes out. I'm not a huge Shenmue guy, so I'm not like super invested, but I did pick up the previous two. So I'm at least more interested now than I was before. I did get a chance to play a little Shenmue, and I do enjoy it so far. It's very mellow. It is a very chill game in terms of pacing. Not boring, just kind of very much like it's just trying to be realistic and just kind of everyday stuff.
I'm brushing your teeth and stuff.
Oh God, you brush your teeth in that game? I haven't gotten there.
I thought I heard that. I'm not sure.
I would not be shocked. I have returned home and gone to bed once, and that did not happen, so that's definitely not an every time thing. But that's funny if true.
I popped into somebody's live stream of that, and they had done the, they were working at the docks doing the like box moving
Yeah.
with the forklift. And he had tried to do something, and the forklift got locked into the environment. Like I don't know what happened, but it basically was just stuck.
Mm.
And the only way that he could get out was to just sit and wait until the shift was over. Once the shift was over, then he was freed from his prison.
That's amusing.
Yeah. And then it proceeded to tell him that he did a great job and he got a raise. So I don't know what happened.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Pity pay.
That's right. Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I think I might be done.
Yeah, I think we all are. Okay. Well, we almost hit it. For
What?
the 3
almost hit
hours.
it. Oh, that's fine. We went over last week.
Yeah, so evening it out a little bit.
Sure.
People definitely got a few chances to fast forward through the archive on this one.
Trying to fast forward.
What?
I was quoting Spaceballs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait. Captain Marvel, first official look, dropping tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. You really held long enough to like make me wonder if it was like out now or.
I was just checking because there were tweets from 3 hours ago, but then yeah, it says yeah, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay.
So yeah, retweeted out. Want to break the internet tomorrow? So.
That'll be interesting. Hopefully it's not like just like a title reveal and that's it.
Maybe it's a trailer.
Well, that's what the hope is. But like hopefully it's like not like a very tiny teaser.
It says Entertainment Weekly is involved, so that makes me skeptical that it could just be like an article.
Yeah. That would suck if it was just an article. Anyway.
Cool.
Okay, so we will look forward to potentially being disappointed or excited in the morning.
There you go. That's life.
Yeah. But I guess we are done for tonight. I'm getting really hungry anyway, honestly, so I wasn't gonna hold out for much longer. Okay. See you guys next week.
All right.
Yeah.